Alright, I am very happy with my homemade Vespera compatible dual band filter here, especially because I already had the SvBony filter for my other telescopes, so I had to buy absolutely nothing extra to make use of this for my Vespera here. So here is a 48-minute exposure of the Rosette Nebula. No mosaic, just, in standard resolution. This is without any filters. And so you can sort of see some nebulosity showing through here, but I'm at Bortle 7.5, and so you're really not getting much in 48 minutes. Now here is basically that same shot, same 48-minute exposure, second night, different night, so the conditions were very similar. And this has the dual band filter. This is the SvBony 220 filter. And you can see how that filter really brings out the nebulosity. So, if you're shooting emission nebulas, having a dual band filter really helps. I also have here just a picture of the Owl Nebula, which is a smaller target. So I think it was definitely worth setting this thing up so I can use a dual band filter on it. So yeah, cheers to Aurelind 2000 for this model. It works really great. The Vespera dual band filter costs you $400. The SvBony 2-inch dual band filter cost you $129. Now it may be the glass in this, the dual band is a little bit better, but that's a significant savings, especially because I already had one of these, and I already had a 3D printer, and I already had a resistor. So if you don't have a 3D printer, just buy the Vespera one. Give Vaonis your money. They deserve some profit too. But if you have a 3D printer, especially if you already have a SvBony dual band filter, it's really tempting to make your own. So this 3D model I found on Thingiverse. I'll leave a link out to it for you. And the person who posted it says you can print this guy with an FDM printer. I have a resin printer, so I went ahead and printed it with the resin printer because this part here specifically has some little tiny threads for hooking to a standard kind of 50.8 or 2-inch astronomical filter. And so to get those threads nicely done, I decided I would use my resin printer. So you put these parts together and it basically makes a compatible filter holder that will snap into the Vespera. Now for the Vespera to auto recognize which filter it is, there needs to be a resistor that kind of has some pads on these holes, and that makes contact with some little pins on the Vespera that will basically identify which filter it is. Now it's optional to put that in. You can just use a filter on the Vespera without it knowing about it, but if you know, or if the Vespera knows that, oh, it's a dual band filter, it changes the gain on the image sensor a little bit to take advantage of that. So I am planning on trying to put a resistor in there to make that work. So as I said, you can do this with an FDM printer. I just happen to have a resin printer, and because there's kind of tiny little threads in there, I'm going to make use of that to try to get those threads as accurate as possible. So this part kind of snaps over this thing here, and then I believe this little part is used to hold the pads in contact. So I believe this part kind of goes in here, maybe like an 1/8 watt resistor, and that snaps in there. And then I think this guy goes over the entire thing. And the only kind of interesting thing to know about this is that the filter screws in from the inside. So it'll screw in from in here, and it actually holds the filter in here, and that way the arm of the Vespera can still close even though the filter is installed. So this is my SvBony 220. It's a dual band filter. I think it's the best value in the dual band filter market. It's not quite as good as the OptoLong. There's a little bit of fringes and reflections you might get, but the value is really hard to beat on this guy. And it's screwed in there pretty well. This model makes it difficult to screw in because it kind of goes inside the model and only has these kind of 3 holes to access. So, screwing and turning it isn't super easy. But if you're going to be leaving it in there and not taking it in and out to use on other telescopes, that won't really be an issue. So I've actually been using these two little notches that are designed to hold that retaining ring or to screw the retaining ring in. I've been using that to screw and unscrew this filter very carefully not to touch the glass. Alright, this is my Vespera 1 or Vespera Classic. You might have noticed there's these two little kind of pogo pins that go right through these holes, and that's what the resistor needs to touch to identify this. Now online, people have said if a 22 kilo ohm resistor works, but if you have a Vespera Classic like I do, you might need a 24 kilo ohm resistor. Unfortunately, I don't have a 24 kilo ohm, I only have a 22, so I'm going to test the 22 on mine and see how that works. It says I have 100% battery, no sensors detected. I don't have the hydrometer and temperature sensor screwed in there. And it says no filters detected. So I'm going to put this resistor on touching these two posts and hopefully not touch the lens. So it should be touching the two posts. Oh, nice. So on my phone here it says, hey, you have the dual filter detected. So all I have to do is put that resistor into this thing in such a way it'll make contact with those posts. Alright, so it looks like this little piece here will pinch that 1/8 ohm resistor pretty much perfectly. It kind of fits between the two holes, just goes right like that. And all I need to do is figure out a way to have like conductive tin foil or something. I think ideally you'd have copper foil soldered to the ends of the resistor. I don't know if I have any copper foil. So I've just taken a tiny pair of needle nose pliers and rolled the resistor leads up so that they're circled directly over these two holes. My resistor isn't quite centered, but whatever. I'm going to just put a blob of flat solder on each of those and try that initially. Alright, I just soldered a blob of solder at the end of each of those little spinny coils, and I think that's going to make pretty good contact with those pins there, because those pins have a lot of movement. Now there's a little bit of resin on my solder, so I can hit that with some sandpaper to clean it up a little bit, but essentially I think that's going to work pretty well there. I don't think I'll even need foil. I'm probably going to put a drop of UV cure resin in there to keep the resistor from moving around, but I think that should hold it in pretty darn well. Alright, so just fit testing the resistor here. I'm going to snap that guy in, and yeah, it detected the dual screen just fine there. I just did some plastic super glue kind of at this notch and then down in that area there, and I'm just clamping it together with some little binder clips and clamps I have. So in preparation of painting, I just put a tiny little bit of masking tape over those contacts because they have to make electrical contacts so they can't be painted. If you wanted to do this right, you'd paint all the pieces before you put the resistor in, but I'm not even sure if the paint's really going to be necessary. I'm just hitting it with a black so it kind of matches the Vespera filter holders. I don't even really think optically that black is going to matter much because the light's coming in, you know, the filter's screwed right into here, so that all the light's going to be coming through that filter. It's possible something might escape through these little gaps here, but if light's escaping through those gaps, painting it's probably not going to help. Alright, I am very happy with my homemade Vespera compatible dual band filter here, especially because I already had the SvBony filter for my other telescopes, so I had to buy absolutely nothing extra to make use of this for my Vespera here. If you had to go out and buy the SvBony filter, that would put you back, you know, 130 bucks. And then if you didn't have a resistor and you didn't have a 3D printer, you'd have to, you know, get this made for you or buy a 3D printer. 3D printer is useful to have, but, you know, it might be easier just to buy the official one. You know, the official one's going to look and fit a little better. You won't have issues of screwing the filter into it, that type of thing. But the advantage here is I can take this filter out and use it elsewhere. And I've found that if I remove the piece of foam that came in here, if I put this guy kind of in, you know, the filter in it and do that, I can close this and just store it in the SvBony box. So that's the other problem of, you know, getting your own, is you have to have a box to store it in and so forth. Obviously, if you don't have a 3D printer, or if you don't already have resistors and filters hanging around, it's going to be at least half the price of the official OEM filter. So, you know, is it going to be a cost savings or not? Depends kind of, you know, how much you can get the little parts 3D printed for you.